All right, good morning. It's Sunday, the second day of spring of 2015. And this here is Bernadette. She's our first colt in to get started on this spring, to get started under saddle. She's a 3-year-old Oldenburg thoroughbred quarter horse cross. And her owner has been working with her some over the last couple of years. She's ground drove her a little bit and did some round pen work with her and showing her under halter. She's had a bridle on, she's had a saddle on. I don't know how regularly she's had any of that stuff done. She first impressions of her, she's a little bit twitchy and spooky, and she's got a little bit of an attitude. Kind of likes to nip at you some. A little bit high-strung. But overall, she seems like a pretty smart horse. She ain't real skittish around people, so I don't think it'll take a whole lot to get her started. But we're going to start her just like we do most all the other colts. We're going to do some round pen work with her this morning here. Kind of get her attitude focused towards learning and respecting me as the herd leader. And knowing what her space is and not trying to chomp you every time you get up close to her. Like she's doing right now. But I think she'll be a pretty nice colt to start. Hopefully turn into a pretty nice horse for her owner. So we're going to get started this morning with some round pen work and hooking her on, trying to get her to move her feet constructively and go in the direction that I asked her to go and start focusing on me and learning how to move and turn and stop and back up, all the things that we're going to build on up to getting her saddled up and getting her rode. So let's get going with her. I'm going to send her off here, whatever direction she decides to go. I did a little bit with her yesterday when she came in. Just standing out here in the pen to see if I could get her to focus on me and come around a little bit. And she did come around, and she came back to me when I took the pressure off her. The whole idea of the round pen work, though, is not to just run these horses into the ground to get your point across. It's to just get them focused and listening to you and paying attention. And she did pretty well at it yesterday. Just standing out here, she came around. So, see there, she wanted to kind of turn in. She's got her ears focused on me and she's looking and paying attention a little bit. A little bit snorty. But I want to keep the pressure on her until I get her a little bit more focused here. And when I see her starting to turn in and look at me, then I'm going to take the pressure off her and draw her in. Let her stand there and think about that a minute. I think she's a pretty bright horse, and she'll pick up on stuff pretty quick. That's what I'm after. Because she did this pretty readily yesterday, just walking around here without driving her around. But I want her to understand completely what it is we're trying to do here. Not just go through the motions. Because everything that I do here with the round pen work is to build on getting her to understand my cues for asking her to move her feet, and what my cues are going to be for her to stop, turn and back up. It's also good for getting her better on the halter, which she was a little bit pushy and draggy on the halter yesterday when I brought her in here. So this is a good starting point to get her better on the halter and just overall better in a thinking mood as to what I want her to accomplish here. Look, it's a little cool out this morning too, so gets her warmed up a little bit and thinking. Start a little bit of desensitizing with the rope here. I don't want her to be afraid of this rope. I just want her to know it's a tool that I use to get her to do what I ask her to do. Alright, let's try sending her off in the other direction and see how she does on the other side of her thinking head. Sometimes it goes real good on one side and then not so good on the other side because they haven't had the amount of work on their off side. See how balanced she is. I got her here. She's looking at me. Licking her chop. She's doing a little bit of thinking, figuring out what kind of lesson mode we're into. When I asked her to work with the move from the very beginning, the only thing I use is a kissing sound to ask them to move their feet, either to speed up, trot, or go into a canter or whatever. I don't do a whole lot of talking to these horses other than wool when it comes to that point, because they don't really understand English anyway. They use the tone of your voice and the sound. They can start understanding if you repeat it enough. But I don't use a whole lot of walk, trot, canter, command type stuff. This side's not quite as easy for her to pick up on. This is kind of a pleasant surprise for her. I didn't expect her to settle down and go into the thinking mode this quickly and this easily. I thought she'd be a little bit rebellious. Probably didn't hear half of what I was saying through all that stuff, but you got it on film. What I was saying was, I didn't expect her to be this easy on hooking on. I thought she'd be a little bit more rebellious and a little bit tougher to get into a thinking mode. But she's picked it up pretty well. So her owner, let's go that way this time. Her owner's done a pretty good job of preparing her. Done the round pen work the right way. And had her follow through with completely hooking on and coming to you and stopping and turning and backing up and learning the basics of what this round pen work's all about. Needs a little bit of help with drawing her in. But how I do that is just move from side to side, ask her to take a couple of steps, and work her way in. Keep drawing her in and drawing off that pressure, getting her feet unlocked, and getting her to come on in and move around. When I ask her to back up, I want her to back up, maintain that space of respect, stay out of my bubble. I don't want to turn into her and ask her to back up. I do that a little bit when I'm doing my groundwork and my halter work with her. But I want her to respect my back just as easily as she respects my front when I'm looking at her. And her owner did say that she has a tendency to want to nip you in the back if you're not paying attention and you don't want to turn your back on her. So that's why I'm specifically working on this a little bit more. So that's a real good start on her first lesson this morning with the round pen work, and I think we'll cut it off there, and I'll probably give her a little chance to think about that, come back and reinforce it a little bit more, and then maybe move on to something else here for a little bit. Adios.